Hespedim for my grandmother, Pouran Yaakov, is our hope that everyone can take something from the words tonight and hopefully put into their life and should for her. I would like to call up my uncle, Young from Atlanta, who personifies my grandmother in his Baal Midot. He's a real mensch, something that our grandmother had, and something that he exemplifies for our whole mishpacha.
Tonight, we are all gathering here to hear and understand how great and amazing was Amchabed, my mother, Pouran Yaakov. In order to understand this, I pick up a Mishnah to describe her. Pirkei Avot, פרק first. שמעון הצדיק היה משערי כנסת הגדולה. הוא היה אומר על שלושה דברים העולם עומד. שמעון הצדיק was one of the leftover from the אנשי כנסת הגדולה, and he used to say, this world is a stand up on three things. The foundation of this world is three things. Al Torah, which my mother always encouraged us for the Limud Torah. The Avodah, which is the Korbanot, and today we have Tefillot. My mother always had three Tefillot, Shacharit, Mincha, Arvit, and never missed one of them. ועל גמילות חסדים, and a good deed, as many of you all know, in Iran, since the people, the Jewish people, scattered from the Mahaleh, which is community of the Jewish, and the shul was there, they opened their house to be a makom for the Torah and Tefillot, for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Many of you, I remember, you told me that you came there and you've done the Tefillot. Many Shidduchim that is still, they are among us. She made us Shidduchim. And here in the United States, many of you told me when you came here for the first few weeks, you don't have no place to go. Their house was open to every one of you. And many of those young, when they get married, on the Friday nights, many people, they were there, and how amazing they talk about it. She was very neat, organized, sweet, special, social, amazing. It was enjoy to be with her, talk to her, and be with him. She always was looking to grow, go further. She was very talented in sewing in Iran and teach a lot of people how to sew. She was one of the individual that in Iran she got the driver license, which car was a luxury. And getting the driver license in Iran, it was not easy as here. The car was stick shift, which is a lot of people, even a lot of men didn't have the driver license in Iran. She showed us to be polite, respectful to others, mensch. She's a lovely person. We miss her a lot. My sister and I had the zechut to be with her on her bed the last few moments of her life, which both of us, we say Shema Israel to her. We recited Hallelujah. And we said Kol Nishmat. Before we finished the Kol Nishmat, all of a sudden, we see 20 people come to the room. And unfortunately, they told us, I'm sorry, Mom, we love you and we miss you.
We would like to ask the Mashgiach Shlita, who is very dear to our Mishpacha, who has been a guiding light for our Mishpacha ever since we came to America. They've helped us grow in Torah, here at Shemayim. And I spoke with Mashgiach Nitam. He already knew so much about our Mishpacha, my grandmother. Here's some Derech Chizuk.
Wszyscy medasy, Chassid Mishpacha, Mary Rabbi say. Many of you knew the Nefteris better than I. Mishpacha, certainly, the community as well. But it's not a difficult thing. When you see something which is beautiful, when you see something which is special, it stands out more than anybody else, more than anything else. In her midot, in her hanhaga, in her tefillah, in her bakasha, in her chasadim. When you see a person like that, you don't have to be very close to the person to see what she was. When she and Yibadon Chaim, her husband should live until 120, healthy and happy years, would walk in, I thought, you saw Malchus, you saw royalty. There was a regal carriage, the way she walked, the way she talked, the way she acted. Chazal say, Ish v'isha zachu is Shechina b'nehem. Shechina b'nehem. The Shechina. that the Rebbeinu Shalom says, I want to give you the Shekhinah, I want to be Masher by Shekhinah, B'Seicham. I want to make you a Beis HaMikdash. I want to make you a Mishkan. I want to be able to be with you. Zochum, Shekhinah Sharbeh. The Shekhinah was there. The Shekhinah was there in this house. The Shekhinah was there in this couple. You don't have to know a person very, very well to be able to see these outstanding qualities, these outstanding characteristics that make a person overflabrious, that make a person that everybody that sees them says that this is someone that we should try to emulate. This is a person that we should try to be like. We should learn from them. Chazal say in Pirkei Avos, Kol sheruach habriyas nachi imenu, ruach hamachim nachi imenu. If people find someone pleasant, find someone appropriate, then ruach habriyas nachi imenu, people feel comfortable when looking at these people, watching these people. They feel this is the way a person should be. Is ruach hamachim nachi imenu. That's a feeling that the Rebbeinu Shalom himself has nachas ruach from this person. They've got it right. They're doing that which the Rebbeinu Shalom wants them to do. Now, Ben Yen explains, you know why? Why does the Rebbeinu Shalom have nachas ruach from this person? Because this person causes other people to be meshabeach HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They cause the other people that see them, that watch them. This is a person. This is a person. This is the way you act when you're a Shevet Torah Mitzvah. This is the way you act when you have anivus, when you're going the derech HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way the Rebbeinu Shalom wants you to be. We see it in front of our eyes. This is a living example of that which the Rebbeinu Shalom wants from us. So the Mekales HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they praise HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They praise His Torah. They said, look how wonderful a person is who keeps the Rebbeinu Shalom's Torah, who keeps it seriously. We heard already from the son who just spoke. Everything she had. Torah, not that her Torah was that she was, like Chazal say, Nashim Ma'izeh Kazachia, where they zecha because they support their husbands and their children. They send them to learn. They wait for them to come home. They take care of them. That makes it her Torah. Whatever her children are, how much they learn, how much they keep, it's all her schus. It's all her schus. Nashim Ma'izeh. Everybody who knew her says she was Zahir, as the previous master said. She didn't miss a Shachris Mincha U'Ma'ariv. Otherwise, we could say that about all the men that didn't miss a Shachris Mincha U'Ma'ariv. We have what to learn from her. As we heard, who came from Iran after the Shaliehsaboo came to America, came to Baltimore, that wasn't invited or cared for by the Shaliehsaboos? And it was a shutfus. You heard Shidduchim trying to talk Shidduchim to people and being successful. But the trying, the caring, and it's not a coincidence that she was such an extraordinary seamstress. What does a seamstress do? Takes pieces of material that have no shaykhs to each other and brings them into one. That's her illness. That's who she was. She did it with material, she did it with people. She did it in her marriage with her husband, she did it with her children, she did it with her grandchildren, with the whole family, and with the community. This is who she was. It wasn't about her. It was about what her husband wanted, what her husband needed. To go to shul, to come to shul together, to come bring him home. To do what was necessary for the family. To do what was necessary for the community. This is a dunya, this is a picture through which the Rebbeinu Shalom is miskalis, through which the Rebbeinu Shalom is praised. And people saying, this is what a person's supposed to be. Halavai, we should all do this. We should learn from this. Learn how we should be. Try to be able to see to that our family should be this way. To emulate this type of character, this type of hagaga. This is what we need. This is what the Rebbeinu Shalom wants. This is what we were created for. And this Isha Ksherim was Ruach HaBriyas Nechimena. I can't imagine that person had a bad word to say about her. There was nothing bad to say. It was only good. Only to be Mishabech from Maisi, to be Mishabech from Hanhaga, to be inspired from her. We have a lot to learn from her. There's a lot that we can do to Ma'alam and Yisham. If each of us tries to take a little bit from what this Isha Kshera did in her life, not to try to emulate her incompletely, not to try to duplicate her, but to take a little bit. Take a 1 meter, take one hanhaga. That'll give an insight to her neshama. That'll give some chiyus. Even now, she can't do mitzvahs anymore herself, but we can do. We can do mitzvahs in her schus. The Baal HaVeres used to say, the Gemara says, in the end of Rosh Hashanah, the Malach HaSher says to the Rebbeinu Shalom, why don't you even say Hallel in Rosh Hashanah? Why don't you even say, it's a Maya, it's a Yom Tov. Why don't we say Hallel? So the Gemara answers, the Rebbeinu Shalom said, because Sefer Chaim and Sefer Mesim Psuchim Lefanov, you can't say Hallel. You're right, it's a Yom Tov, we should say Hallel. But we can't. It's a name of Sadin. So he used to ask, maybe the Sefer Chaim is open, we understand. They're being judged. But why is the Sefer Mesim open? Sefer Mesim had their dinner ready when they were nifter. So he said, everybody that does something, Ben the Torah, Ben the Mutiv, we do a deep work. We say something nice to a person, or we do something nice to a person. We do a nice intention. That has a chain reaction. It doesn't end there. A word is not finished because I stopped saying it. A mice is not finished because I stopped doing it. It has a chain reaction. I said good morning to Reuven. Reuven goes over to Shimon and says good morning. And Shimon goes over to Levi and says good morning. And if he doesn't say good morning, but he's in a good mood, he's in a better place. Because somebody made him feel good. Somebody was machshir him. Somebody recognized him. Shiva said that every year on Rosh Hashanah, the Mason will also be there. All the wonderful things that the Mason did when they were alive, all those wonderful things are still going to have a nitzchiistic existence by all that it caused others to do, and will continue to cause others to do. That takes place every year. All the Mason Tatum did things, all the wonderful things she did, all the wonderful people she helped, everybody, all that is continuing to make more and more Mason Tatum, and will never stop. And Beit Hashem is Baruch. That'll be a schus for her neshama. That'll be a schus for her wonderful husband. He should continue to be with Baruch Klal Yisrael ad mea v'esrim. We should all be zeichen to have nachas, to be able to be nana from all her Mason Tatum, her wonderful children, that she was mechazik, that she was megadol, together with her husband. Shem Torah mitzvahs, Talmidei Chachamim, Marbitei Torah. We should continue to be able to see these Ma'asim Torah, see all the litzias of these Ma'asim Torah, see all the pairs and the peri-pairs. That should bring in the Hasrot to the Rebbeinu Shalom and be a schus for the Neshama of Tahira of the Nefteris.
I'd like to call up my dear uncle, Rav Daniel from Great Neck, whose leadership and persistence has led the Great Neck community. And he got this midah from our grandmother, who's always taken initiative and persistence in keeping.
Really embarrassed to talk about my mother because past 2 days I got to know my mother much better. I saw that she has, as the previous Hespedim spoke, she had the middle of Achnasat Orchim, but exactly opposite of Avraham Avinu. Now, Avraham Avinu was the example of Achnasat Orchim, but when he had Yitzchak Avinu, not only he stopped doing Achnasat Orchim, he even, his own child, Ishmael, sent him out of the house. Because now he had Yitzchak Avinu to raise. When I was a child, I didn't see my mother doing any Achnasat Orchim because she had all her children to raise. But now I hear that when we left the house, she started bringing people home and take care of their shidduchim, their needs. Somebody told me that even in Vienna, while she was transferring from Shiva, Iran, to the United States, in the middle of the way, she had people over, and she did Achnasat Orchim even in Vienna. That's something that I didn't know. Besides all the shidduchim that I didn't know my mother doing shidduchim. There's a word from Rav Ben David Zechasadi that I think that brings out what my mother was all about. He asked, what is the pshat? What is the explanation of Chaim? What is the taich of Chaim? People think that it means life. Torah calls life Chaya. Vahi Adam b'nefesh Chaya. Chaim is only Elokim Chaim. Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a Chaim, and almost there's no translation for Chaim. We are Chaya. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to use our life to make the moments of the Chaya life that we have, to make it eternity. And that's Chaim. Elokim Chaim is eternity. And says Zochrenu L'Chaim, Melech Hafez B'Chaim. We're asking that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give us the opportunity that to make from our life eternity. How do we make from our life eternity? We're here for 70, 80, 90, 120 years. It's a span of our life. Those moments of our life that we use and we do mitzvot with, we learn, we use it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that we turn it to be eternity. Those moments of our life that we waste, it went to waste. It's dead. I could say that my mother knew what's the pshat in Chaim, how to use her life, how to raise children, how to let us grow the way that we want. She never stopped us what we want to be. Even so that she helped us a million to, as far as the midot concerned, very, very makpid that we should continue to behave all our life, to have good midot. But in terms of what we want to do in our life, she helped us. She guided us the right way, but she helped us to grow what we want. She never stopped us, and she knew how to do it for us to make the right decision. She could not stand doing nothing. She, at the end of her life, that she could not almost walk at all, very little, and she could not move. All her complaint in her life was, I'm doing nothing. I'm doing nothing. So Hima come, we have Shabbat, but I didn't do anything for Shabbat. I didn't do it. When we had a camera to see what they do, it was dangerous for them to be around, but we had the cameras. You always see that she's going here. Once she was climbing a chair to do something. I don't know what she wanted to do, but she could not sit quiet, and that's what her life was all about: to do and to accomplish, and to when we called, she had all the brachot to say. She had to ask our wife and children how they do, and she knew exactly what to say to every one of their children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. The Gemara in Yerushalmi says that if there is Ben Zachar in the family, because there is a midat din on the family when somebody passes away, but not a few hours after she passed away. Baruch Hashem, the family had a Ben Zachar brought to the family. That shows that it was not even a midat din. She went in clean shamayim. She went the way that she was neat in her life. She was clean. Her soul was clean to shamayim. We have a lot to learn. We had a lot to learn. And we're zocheh to have. We were zocheh to have her as our mother, and Bezat Hashem should give arichut yamim to my father. There was they both together, as Rabbi Weisford said, they brought us. They were royal, and they expect us to be the king and the queen, and they were zocheh, Baruch Hashem, they were zocheh to a beautiful family, children, grandchildren, all in the ways of Torah and mitzvot. Yehi zichra baruch.
I'd like to call up my father, Rabbi Mori, who has the midah of hatzmei alechet, doing things without fanfare, something that my grandmother had. The children, even the grandchildren, we didn't even know her greatness.
It's very hard to. It's very hard to speak about your mother. When we want to Menachem the Abeli, we say, Tenachom Nishmai. Means to say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu B'chvodo B'atzmo comes to Menachem to comfort the Abeli. Achem Ashkenazim, that been a little bit different nusach. מקום לנחם אתכם בתוך שער אבלי ציון בירושלים. It's the same thing, the same idea, that המקום הקדוש ברוך הוא בכבודו בעצמו comes to Menachem. Each individual is very special in the eyes of הקדוש ברוך הוא. יקר בעיני השם אמרת לחסידיו. That's why he comes. Every one and one is dear in the eyes of Kadosh Baruch Hu. As we mentioned in this Nosach, the Toch Ablei Tzion, at the same time that we want to Menachem the Abelim, we Menachem those that are in Avelut, in the Churban, at the Mikdash. We say this in Birkat Hamazon LaAbelim, the same idea. Menachem Hashem Elokeinu et Ablei Tzion v'et Ablei Yerushalayim. In the third bracha of Birkat Hamazon, which is a bracha Binyan Yerushalayim, Bnei Yerushalayim, by Abelim we mention Menachem. Suddenly Chazal, they sides fit. That when we want to Menachem Abelim, we have to Menachem those people that Abelim gets Tzion in Yerushalayim at the same time. Why? Because at the time that a person is Abel, he lost one of his beloved one. Deep down in his heart, he understands what does it mean to love your beloved, to lose it. Deep in your heart, you're thinking, what I missed, what I lost. This is time to remember the Pouran Betamikdash, what we lost. Interestingly, we say, ואת העבדים המתעלים באבל הזה, נחמם מאבלם, שמחם מגונם כאמור. Bring a pasuk. כאיש אשר עמו תנחמנו. הקדוש ברוך הוא is menachem, just like a mother comforts a person. הקדוש ברוך הוא compares. Here the Chazal are comparing. How HaKadosh Baruch Hu come to comfort us? The same way that the mother comforts a person. How a mother comforts you. The mother knows you. He raised you. He knows what exactly you are. Your techutan nefesh. What should be done? A real mother is a mother that knows her children, what they need, which area they have to mechazek. That's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu Menachem Klal Yisrael, just like a mother. I remember one day I came home from school. Right away, she noticed my face, something wrong.
she asked me, everything okay? I said, yeah. I didn't want to talk about it. She said, no, everything is not okay. Something bothering you. I didn't want to talk about it, but she, with her soft and delicate way of talking, made me to say it. I said, yeah, I was punished in school. Why? You didn't behave? Everybody knows, not behaving was a red line for my mother. I said, no, it wasn't my fault. I said, what do you mean? What happened? I said, everybody in the class, they got punished. But I didn't do anything, I got punished anyway. Why? Few boys, they made noise, and while the teacher was out, the principal came, Mr. Farivar, and we didn't want to say who made the trouble, and everybody got punished. I got punished also. My mother said, "Oh, so what's wrong? You didn't do anything." I told her, but I got punished because I didn't do anything. They think I did it. So she told me, I didn't want to tell you, but now you're saying it, I tell you. 2 weeks ago, I went to school. I wanted to see, how are you doing? How the kids doing? And Mr. Farivar, Farivar, saw me. I said, what are you doing in school? I told him, I came to school to see how my children are doing. He says, no, before your children see you go, you want that your children think that they are not behaving or something? Why are you coming to school? She told me, don't worry about it. Your principal, your teacher, they know. But they have to punish everybody. So we got punished. Don't worry about it. Whenever I was 13 or 14 years old, I wanted to buy a sports bike, which wasn't something normal. It was an expensive one. But I wanted very much. My friend got it. I wanted to have it also. When I came home, my mother asked me, what do you want? She would see in my face, I want something. I said, no, because it was a dream for me to have it. I know it wouldn't go through. That's why I didn't want to even ask for it. She's talking to me, yeah, what do you want, what do you need, you're not happy with this. I told him, my friend had a sport bike. It's okay, I speak to your father. And me and my friend were the only ones that have that sport bike. Be happy. She knew the face is different. It's a real mother how to comfort you. He knows you. It wasn't only with the children. Whenever she realized somebody needs something, she was there. Emma Mahfoud, Ruth, was a princess. He was a Bat Melech Moab. But a royal life, a luxury life. But she decided, she found the end. She decided to follow Naomi. Naomi tried to tell her go back. No. Bashet adrenaline. She found Emmett. She left behind all that luxury life. She was a prince, but she had to go collect Lake Shaliehsaboo because she found Emmett. My mother wasn't missing in Iran, anything. She had a 3-story house, big yard. She not approved it. 150 people. Wedding was done in that house. When she came, United they said she has to be a babysitter. She didn't care. I came for my children. I do anything. The situation is that way. I do it. Doesn't matter. She was a teacher. She had her own pride. I remember we had the end of the house, we had a room, it was called Toka Hayati, swing room. The ladies, they would come and she would teach them. She had her pride. She came here. She didn't know language, she learned it. She was so committed. Doesn't matter where were you. Now you live with your situation the way that it is. Just grow, encourage. In Vienna, I was 9 months with my mother. When she would hear somebody's coming, okay, let's go buy pot. Pans and pot. For what? We have to cook. But in the shul, they give food to everybody. No. They want kufte, they want gondi, they want Shaliehsaboo. Persian food, that's what they want. I want to cook for them. She was there, anybody's need. First year, always, every week, we would receive a package, pistachio, بادام سرخ کرده. All the children, when we would get it, was so happy. Somebody said us, somebody. Once I called her and told her, thanks so much. We said, you could buy it in the store. He said, I know you like mine much better, that's why I'm sending it. She was there. She understood what we need. Always. She was telling me how to behave with my wife. She would see something wrong. She would tell me, that's not how we behave. Even the type of a life that she had in Iran was much different than here. But once she came here, the situation is different. You have to be able, I told her, in Iran we didn't do that. I said, you are not in Iran. She had the understanding and the situation better than us. We miss her. Her memories is only a guidance that guide us to our life.
I'd like to call up Shlomo, whose energy and youthfulness began through my grandmother. so she was always active. He also kept her young.
Father. I'm really not ready to stand here and talk about my mother. She was a very pure woman. She had a heart of gold. She was like a sun would shine through everybody. She didn't want anything for herself. She was always there for others. Every time we went to the house, every time I went there, she was always asking me, how are you doing? How's your wife? How's your kids? She always cared about others. She was in pain herself a lot. As my brother says, a lot of times she couldn't walk. I just wanted to share one of the memories that I personally had with her. It was one night I was in the office. Her knees was hurting her. She couldn't stand her knees. I called her up, and because of that, she had to sleep downstairs. She couldn't go upstairs. And once she slept downstairs, my father would sleep downstairs too. So I was in my office. My office is not that far from our house. I called her up. She says, your father wants to go to sleep. He's going to sleep. He doesn't have a blanket. I said, fine. I'll be there. I got off of my office. I walked to the house. It really takes me 10 minutes maybe to get there, 5-10 minutes. I see my mother with her 2 hands and her feet going up the steps. I said, Mom, I told JB. She said, no, your father's cold. I wanted to give him the blanket. I said, Mom, I go downstairs. I went upstairs, got the blanket for her. I got a blanket for my father. Then I made sure everything is okay. And I went on. But my mother doesn't make a difference what situation she was, what pain she had. She always was there for others, was there for my father, was there for the kids. And as previous people mentioned, with the shidduchim she made, with everything in her life that she was all about others, about Torah, about mitzvah, about, doing Gimurat Chasadim. This is all she was. There was a time, like one time my father wanted to go to shul. Should be, between me and my brother, we got there 15 minutes late. He couldn't walk. And my father, people know he can't see very good. He got up with my father. He walked into shul, which when we saw it, we're like, Mom, why did you do that? And we did, we be there. There was a one time, Yom Kippur, which everybody remembers. She didn't want to bother us. She walked home, trying to wait, she fell down. But she always wanted to do everything herself. She did not want to be tircha anybody. That's what she was all about. Everything was for others, was nothing for her. She was selfless, the most selfless lady I ever knew. She was always doing things to be for others, nothing for herself. She would cook food. She would make sure every time we went there, eat something. Did you eat? As like she always wanted to be there for others, and it was like she was the most selfless lady I ever knew. She was like a rose that was just like had such a big, beautiful smile just for others, nothing for herself. Thank you.
to call up and do Yitzchak from Eretz Yisrael. Was Achmas Orchem, the whole Mishpacha is known, his happiness, something he got from our dear grandfather.
I don't believe him. Standing here, it's good. There's a Gemara in Katan when Yochanan was Nifter, Yitzchak, and Elazar said, Kasha Hayom, Israel, Kiyom Hashemesh B'Tzaharayim. The Tzaharayim is in the middle of the day. As to say, why was he taken from us in the middle of his life? And the question is, why by Ptira, someone who had Arichut Yamim, is it compared to the sun leaving in the middle of the day, in the middle of their life? You can say, I was thinking, the word Tzaharayim we see by Noach, but Teva, it says, Tzohar Chased HaTeva. And Rashi explains, Even Tova Amira Lanu. And this was exactly what our mother was. She was a light for everybody. And she was taken from us in the middle of her night. The Satan knew that the only way to get her was to make her fall. She tried, the Satan tried many times. She fell again and again, but she would get up. She would continue. Satan knew that the only way to get her is to take her away from all the giving that she was doing from others. Never fall, to go to the hospital. The only way. But as her sisters were telling me, speaking to her sister in Eretz Yisrael, she with them, really well, she was a lion. Before, as she heard she went to the hospital, she says, why is she going to the hospital? I remember her in Iran, she was the lion. How can such a thing happen to a lion? And same way I remember her, always running around, thinking what you can do for anyone, everyone, taking care of everything in the house, the bills, the banking, my school, shopping, everything and anything for everybody. She lived up to her name. She was maybe more like a nesher than a tzipor, always flying around, flying everywhere for all the children and for all the grandchildren, to make everybody happy. This nefesh that she went through for me, especially an American teenage boy, being brought up in a society that she not the society she was brought up with, but she knew how to deal with me, to make sure that I grow up to be Yirat Hashem. From when I came out with her, when we were in Vienna, I remember she had a Siddur and Tehillim with her all the time. I remember a story, not that I remember, they say over, when my brother was there, he would come and said, I davened everything from the beginning of the Siddur until the end of the Tefillah. I said everything. Yahweh, Yavo, Nachem, everything.
I didn't know what I was supposed to say, not to say. I just said everything. That's all. She just davened and davened and Tehillim. They put me into the school there while we were in Vienna. We were there for many months. I remember I would go to the school as a 5-year-old, sit on the side. She would be sitting on the side saying Tehillim until school was over. All the time with the Tehillim. And when we came to America, we came to Baltimore. So they did people to live in Baltimore because of me. So they say, yeah, they had a house in the other place. No, I want Baltimore because this is going to be a good, from place for Yitzchak to grow. We had this Hespedim, I remember saying, we lived on a block, there's all Jews. The only block in Baltimore that has everybody on the block is Jewish. They wanted me to be only around Frum. I had this group to have them in Eretz Israel. And they, Baruch Hashem, Siyata Dishmaya, I was able to get them a bracha. She was able to get a bracha from Chacham Ovadia. That's up. She would go around the ziyarah, everywhere they would go. She would say, no, I have to give a bracha for Binyan and his family, Daniel and his family, Ferdinand's family, everybody, one by one. She would be thinking of everybody all the time, everywhere she was. I would come home from Koben while she was there. She would find a corner for herself, sit in the corner, find a sunny spot in the house, sitting saying Tehillim until I got there. A lot of times I think in Eretz Israel, on the bus or wherever, was I zoche to come, live in Eretz Israel, Baruch Hashem, Mishpacha, all growing. It's an obvious answer. My mother is sitting there saying, leave. My father as well. They're saying, Tehillim is what's making what everything happening is happening. And now, without her Tehillim, I hope that we can fill that gap of Tehillim and be able to be zochet to continue to give her nachat. Many times I would call the house, she would answer with silence. And after a moment of silence, she would apologize. I was finishing the perek, I was finishing the pasuk. Many times, you called just in time. I just finished mincha. I'm about to start mincha. I just finished shacharit. Wait, it's almost shkia. Call me back afterwards. I don't want to miss. And it wasn't only for us she was davening. She was a mother and grandmother for anybody who knew her. She was able to relate and connect to all the grandchildren. Everyone, even though she wasn't from their generation, she knew how to speak to each one in their generation. Joke with them. All my kids looked forward to talking to her a few times a week. She would teach them Farsi words and test them the next time they spoke. Okay, she made a list for herself. These are the words I taught you. Do you know what next time I talk to you? Okay, did you know these words? And after a while, they started speaking to her full sentences. They would look forward to speaking Farsi to my mother, even though they never heard Farsi from anywhere else. She would never tell me when she's not feeling well. If I hadn't spoken to one of the siblings that told me that, she happened to be in the ER over Shabbat or whenever, and I didn't know, I wouldn't be able to get it out of her. Mom, are you sure you're okay? No, I didn't want to make you upset. I didn't want you to worry. The Marsha says, how is it that the sun could go away in the middle of the day? He explains the Gemara and says, the only way is when the clouds cover it. The clouds cover the sun. The sun continues to shine. It's just that we don't get the hana. She's still shining and having nachat from all the fruits that she planted. Maybe be zochet, the karov, to see her shine again.
My dear cousin, Rabbi Rabbanes, whose his warmth and love for all his students is known far and wide in Los Angeles. We got to speak there from my grandma.
Bershutchem, as everybody else said, it's not easy to be here and to speak about my grandmother. We called her Mamanjun. Mamanjun means dear mother. Not only the sons called her Mamanjun, the grandsons and the great grandkids, they all called her Mamanjun because she truly was a mother to all of us. She was a second mother to all of us. A lot of qualities that she had, but one thing that stands out and I want to focus on was her simchat hachaim, the joy and the zest of life that she had. As the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, Ezo Ashi Hasameach V'Chelko, she was really always happy with what she had. She never ever complained, as you heard many times everybody said. I never heard her complain once in my life. She always wanted to learn new stuff because she wanted to do herself, and she always had a zest for life that she wanted to do more and more and more. One thing that many people may not know, I pride myself on being a good chef, cook, and I attribute it all to my grandmother. I never share this with anybody. When I was in Iran, a lot of times I used to go to her house. Sometimes even without my mom knowing, I would just go to her house because I really loved spending time there. She was always calling me, Delorjun, Bia. I would go, she would cook, she would even teach me. And that's where I got inspired for that, the cooking, and that how everybody knows she was an expert cook, and she always fed me. I would really, truly miss her smile, and not sure where to look for to see that smile ever again. We'll miss you, Mom.
I'd like to call Moshe Balanes to represent the great grandchildren.
I was talking to one of my friends earlier today, and he saw me writing down something on a piece of paper. I was preparing for what I was going to say now. And so he asked me what it was. I told him what happened. And he said, he looked at me, he's like, you have what to say about your great grandmother? Like, you know what to write? Like, you knew her? He said, well, I have a great grandmother, but I don't really know her. I mean, we go once in a while to see her, visit her. it's almost like she's too old for us. She doesn't relate to us. Like she's not so interested in seeing us. But I don't have what to say about my great grandma, which I think in itself says something about her and who she was, and how she lived her life. Because my father said by the Levi that she connected with all of us. Someone came from a totally different world, totally different generation. We all of us, me, my siblings, my cousins, we all were excited to talk to her, felt close to her. Always wanted to be around her. I remember we were zofek to have Mama's welcomed by us earlier this year. When I was home over Sukkot, and it was cold. We would wrap her in blankets and coats. And by desserts, we served ice cream. She was sitting there freezing, eating ice cream with us, just enjoying it with us. Just to be there and enjoy it with us, to be with us. Another thing I remember that stood out to me, as Amador just said, was her simcha at that time. I can't remember. I was honestly trying to think of one time. I have no recollection of her ever not smiling. She was always smiling, always happy. We knew she was cold. We knew she was in pain. She couldn't do it. It was hard for her to walk. She was always smiling. She never complained. She was bigger than life. She clearly knew what it meant to be happy, what happiness is. And she radiated to us and helped us learn from that. Another thing is that Daniel said that she never wasted a moment. So in her world, and by her wasting time, it wasn't a thing. Sitting around doing nothing wasn't a thing. I think most people at that age would at best be sitting retired doing nothing. She was always, when she was by Sukkot, my grandmother, she should live and be well, would always, when we were cooking for getting ready for the Seudah, for Chag, she would just give her something to do, something here, cut, peel, do something, just to keep her busy, because she couldn't stand still. When I went to visit her in rehab from one of her operations, she just kept on saying, like, I'm sitting here doing nothing, I'm sitting here doing nothing. She was always being productive, always doing something. And one more thing that I appreciated more by the Levi was seeing the whole mind, everyone there, all just realizing all the rabbanim and all the whole mishpacha that came. I realized that I hadn't really appreciated who she really was, because first of all, as great grandchildren, we didn't know. She just related with us. She wouldn't talk to her, tell her like what she did, but seeing the mishpacha that she was the nachat. She was the mother of what I would say was one of the most prestigious sort of rabbinic families in the Persian community. Some regular people aren't zoka to that. She had to have been someone outstanding to be able to raise such a family. In the Shema of Aliyah, maybe you don't hear the news, and these other come with chef and fit anything.
I'll share a few of my own thoughts. A lot was spoken about. I'll just share a few of my own personal interactions and thoughts. I always thought that I had a special relationship with my grandmother, something that just me and her. I'm a little shaitan sometimes, and I was able to connect with her. I knew Persian a little bit, but over the past few days, I realized that all my cousins felt the same way, that they also had a special relationship with her. And as people kept coming in, I realized many more people in the community felt that way. They all had a special relationship with her. I had the zechut of coming a couple of weeks ago to Shiva's banquet, and I stole a few minutes away, and I went to visit her in the hospital, and she recognized me. I couldn't recognize her so easily, but when I came in, she said, "Oh, Yosef." And she asked me how my wife is, how Shira. She mentioned the name of 4 out of 5 of my children. Each one of them, she asked me, how are they doing? She always would daven for me. I remember when I first got married, so it took about 5-6 months for my wife to get pregnant. So she would ask me, how's everything going? I said, please daven. And she would always daven for me. And she would always make sure, I'm davening for you, is everything okay? Is anything I can help you? And I was imbibed with this Persian mentality that you need to have a son first. So I told her I only want a son. So she looks at me and she says, no, whatever Hashem gives you. I'm like, no, I want a son. So she takes me to Babajun, and he says, he only wants a son. So he said, okay, if he wants a son, he's going to have a son. And Kachala. But she was telling me, whatever Hashem gives you. She loved children. She knew how to take care of them. I remember one time I was getting a ride to Yeshiva, hitching a ride. So I asked him, what's my name? Yosef Shaliehsaboo. He's like, oh, your grandmother babysits my children. I was like, okay, this Ashkenazi guy is sending to a Persian grandmother, like, what's going on? There's many babysitters around, like, many options. So he's like, listen, every babysitter we sent him to, it was crying. He was crying. So I sent him to your grandmother on day 1, he was okay. Never cried. Somehow she knew. She had this special connection with anybody. She would always encourage me to learn. She always wanted to see us, of course. But she told me, just only if you're in town and you have time to stop by, you come by. Otherwise, I want you to stay and learn. Don't come. She didn't want to see me. She said, if you're learning, you learn. I remember one time, I had the brit milah of my first son, Yaakov. So my father came to town. So I told her, I said, tell my father to come more often. Come more often. Come visit. You get to see him and I get to see him. It's a fair deal. So she says, no. He's teaching Torah. I don't want him to come. She didn't want to stay a long time. He's teaching Torah. She would encourage me to help people. She would invite me for Shabbat. She knew I invited other people. She's like, listen, if you're available, there's a week that you want to take off from inviting somebody, then you can come to me. Otherwise, you invite other people. The few times that I went, she would force me to say Divrei Torah. It was a little bit of a language barrier. She says, don't worry. I'm going to help you. You help me. Work it out. So between English and some Hebrew words from Lashon HaKodesh and Persian, we figured out a Divrei Torah together. It was understood. There had to be a Divrei Torah. Mevatel dat. Whatever dat Torah said, that's the way it was. She never questioned. The Rav said, the halacha, what's the halacha? That's the way it was, that's the way it's going to be. I was at her house for the past few days. something stood out to me. That no matter which floor, all three floors, there's Gidon pictures. Ashkenazi, Sephardi, on all the walls, there's Gidon pictures. That's who she looked up to. That's who she wanted us to look up to. I never knew that she had 3 machalas. 2 days ago, I never knew this. So she never complained. I'm the fuzzle type, I like to know everything, but I still didn't know that. And I asked all the other grandchildren, nobody knew that. They knew she got sick one time, something, they didn't know details. She got sick 3 times, we never knew that. It was always whatever Hashem wants. And it should be a melit yosher for our mishpacha, for our community, and for Klal Yisrael. I'd like to end off with Rav David Lebhar, will say a poem that was written from the great Nek Mishpacha, Shaliehsaboo.
I was asked to read this poem written by one of the grandchildren. Savta, 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 my precious grandmother, always so happy to greet us, always wanting to see us. The memories we have from playing in your house are the best, sneaking sugar cubes and bumping down the steps. Always offering candy from your Savta purse with overflowing love that could quench any thirst. I cherish every phone call I had with you. How are the kids? What's new? And of course, we'd love to hear your warm berachot too. Be healthy, it's important. Whatever you want, Hashem give you. And then you would tell me in the end, a big regards to my husband I should send. I'm very happy talking with you. I love you, I would hear, before I hung up with my Savta so dear. Savta, sitting with your Tehillim all day, so worn and so used, as to the heaven you did pray. For each and every one of your precious grandchildren, you begged and you pleaded, your words reaching Shamayim. Savta, you are zochet to raise a family who are true Shomrei Torah and Mitzvot. Baruch Hashem, you've shared tremendous nachat and you've shared in countless family smachot. What a beautiful family with a matriarch like you. And now your neshama is in Shamayim with Hashem, who you are always so close to. My dear Savta, we will miss you so that tears do not stop to flow. I cherish all the memories and love, and I hope to give you the nachat as you watch from above. Your loving granddaughter.
behalf of the mishpacha, we want to thank everyone for coming. I think everyone that was there, the doctors, everyone that helped the mishpacha with the food and everything the past few days. There's a few brachot outside, and the lady should say the Shai Rachamim.
Mishpacha is going to sit here where the Ham 11 wants to come and do the Hamon. Please come. הרחם הכל ויתרו יחוס ויחדו לכם הנפש והשמור של כולם בת יעקב וחנו את הנתנו ויננו לכל ישראל שתמר כביש נדע וסלו ותפסה לחיים וחסד רב וחמים וכן הסמנו
Cable? Thank you for charging my phone. Huh? Keep the Wi-Fi on? As long as the Wi-Fi is my phone. As long as I'm within the building, yes, you can keep it. What, you need the Wi-Fi? I think they would appreciate watching this. Okay, I mean, I stay around for another couple minutes, but as long as I was in the building, you guys more than welcome to enjoy the Wi-Fi. Thank you very much. You have your phone? Smartphone? I have Huh? Yeah, when?
If anybody here wants to go in army?
Okay, Rabotai, thank you very much. I think what is going
And I was like, yeah. And now being all that and two Every Friday, everybody has to use this environment. We call moment when everybody knows.
So please let us know.
Yeah, I remember stuff in the basement was very exciting.
When you close it. After 4.
You came with a full car line? For the people sitting in the back, that's so we put him in the
You, your wife, I got that. Gonna take the hand.
Don't drink before you come.
Say hi to all your cousins. Hello. This is on YouTube Studio. It's on, but it's streaming on YouTube. Is it public or private? Public. So it's gonna be posted after like all of that. Yeah. I'll go. Hello. I think people want to see Saba. I'm pretty sure everybody could see Saba. It appears dark. I put in. That's my grandfather. Bye bye. I was gonna. So I think I'd rather. Yeah,